And welcome back, my fellow fiends. Last time, we defeated Ongyoki, as well as the rest of the Oni, inside the Ikebukuro Tunnels. This time around, we are going to continue our trip to Asakusa, which is thankfully just outside of the, next walkway that we briefly detoured into to get to Fuki. Now, one thing that I wanted to mention is off-screen, before going to the Ongyoki fight, I had bought a bunch of chakra drops, and I did turn in some lucky tickets to get an incense. I got a strength incense out of that, and I've already used it, so got another point of strength, which will come in handy later, I am sure. Not at the moment, since I'm not really running a physical build right now, because it's kind of not an option, which is another reason why I don't really like investing in strength early on. But hey, every point we get now is a point I don't have to get later. And it is fights like these, where the enemies open like that I love having somebody with Dekunda as the first person to go in battle. But this time, we're going to be heading to Asakusa, and we are going to be dealing with this probably one of the most infamous beginner traps in this game. Definitely up there. Maybe Matador is worse, but for people who have pursued the side quests in this game, this one is also pretty widely hated. So let's do our best to get out of here. If I get into another encounter before I can get to the platform, then I'll use a chakra drop. That cube on the tracks, that is just a muscle drink, not worth going for. Can I make it? Can I make it? Will I make it? Haha, no encounter. I was playing a little risky there, but it didn't matter too much. I do want to get another Estoma up, because we are at the end. Once we get into the station, there are no encounters to worry about, but there will, of course, be encounters as soon as we get back out into the overworld. And no treasure in the station area, so we do not have to worry about that. Let's just take these stairs and get on out of here. Now, real quick, before I forget, I definitely want to make sure I have the right demons in my party. Karasu is going to be going into the stock. I want to keep Matador. I want to bring in Daisojo. And our Habaki can also stay, because he has a very important skill for a fight that we're about to get into. So, heading over to Asakusa, and Asakusa, going forward, I like to consider this my base of operations, so to speak. Is usually the place I work back to. Because the mannequins are occupying it, there are no demons here, so there will be a collection of healing fountain, a cathedral shadows, and a store, and we don't have to worry about getting into encounters when going through here. The biggest downside is that the store does not sell chakra drops. We still have to go back to the Great Underpass of Ginza if we want to buy those. Of course, you probably already noticed, the Candelabrum of Sovereignty is flickering right now, and in what is probably one of the most hated moves in the game, or is definitely up there, the spawn point for the fiend that we're looking for, right in front of the terminal right there. So as soon as you walk up to it, you're going to get asked if you want to stick around, and most likely you were just going to get thrown into a fight with the fiend here. Oh, you got the save. Yeah, it is nice that these guys now have their own place that isn't in a sewer. So we want to go in the Fountain of Life, and yes, it is specifically the save point that the fiend is camping out in front of. Any other area or store in here, or, well, I guess, like, business place, you can go into that, no problem. It is specifically the save point, which, if you came here straight after fighting Ongyoki, would be really annoying if you didn't think they'd do something so cruel. So, once again, I just want to make sure I got the right team here. Let's step forward. Now, like so many other fights, this guy is going to go first in the battle, but for once, this is actually not a problem. We don't have to worry about getting lucky on the first turn, because he has a unique opening gambit. But as you can probably tell from the neighing, we are dealing with one of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, White Rider. So I guess we're just destined to this. Now, White Rider would not be here if you did not see the cutscene in the entrance of the third Kalpa, so you have to go there if you actually want to fight him. Alternatively, if you don't want to deal with this guy ambushing you when you enter Asakusa, you could wait until now to do that, but I know I can take him. I've got a good strategy for this, so I'm not too worried. So, White Rider, to start, as soon as he gets his dialogue out of the way. Sorry, sometimes the best offense is a good defense, but he will summon a couple of virtues, and anytime you kill them, if there's one or both dead, he will use Dragon's Eye and then summon more in to continue his turn. Now, something about the virtues is that they are weak to death-type attacks, and Stone Gaze is a death-type attack, and these are standard virtues, so they're still vulnerable to Stone Gaze. So I can have our Habaki petrify them with Stone Gaze and essentially take them out of the entire fight. So that is what I'm going to do here. Also, White Rider has access to... Oh, I was not expecting Daisoja to be the next one in line. White Rider has access to Deikaja, so the way to go here is debuffs. Now, this is very important... Oh, man, I actually did forget something pretty important. It shouldn't matter too much with the strategy I'm going to use, but it is a bit of an unfortunate goof for me. I meant to equip Shiranui before getting into this fight, but I completely forgot to do so. Okay, Stone Gaze missed there, so that's a little unfortunate. So, let's see here. Let's use Sukukaja. Like I said, he has Deikaja, but that is not something I'm overly worried about. This is why I wanted Shiranui. He uses Prominence, which is the strongest fire attack in the game, and it's a pretty nasty one, so it is definitely not good that I neglected to equip that. Okay, so they used Rakunda there, which is a little annoying, but we can just Warcry them down. I'll probably have Matador use Dekunda to get that off of us. Let me see. Hopefully Stone Gaze actually connects this time. Ah, man. That's actually the worst luck I've ever had with that. That usually connects first try. Fortunately, he should not be too dangerous at this point. He's getting rid of our Sukukaja buff, but that is also him not doing damage to us, so I am not overly concerned about that. Oof, 2 Rakundas, so he's back to Prominence, doing pretty good damage, but he makes a terrible decision there. So yeah, this is actually going kind of weirdly poorly so far. I don't usually have this problem where Stone Gaze misses like that. I promise it does work. Let me see here. We'll just start using Meditation just to chip in a little damage. Let's see, I don't need the Demi-Fiend to do anything. So let's Stone Gaze, and hopefully it connects this time. There we go! And yes, because it's a weakness, it'll allow us to get another press turn in. Let's use Sukukaja here. Get that little bit of evasion, maybe manipulate him into using Deikaja. Because again, that's much less threatening than him using Prominence. And yeah, there he goes. And once I get that other virtue petrified, then this fight's going to become a lot easier. Yeah, there's another reason you want to get them out of the battle is because they have made diorama. Not huge healing. And yeah, that's why I want Shiranui, because our Habaki is weak to that, and it's a very big goof that I forgot to actually put that on, but as you can see, it's not a huge deal. Now, the reason I wanted to get Tetraja on, let me see, let's get a focus in just to start, and hopefully this time Stone Gaze will just work right out. Nope. Okay, this is really stalling my offense here. Let's, what I want to do is taunt to get his defense down, and then I want to do a couple more war cries so we can keep his physical attack down. Let's just go for Sukukaja. Now, again, I was going to say, the reason I want Tetraja up is that White Rider has a signature move, God's Bow. It is Expel type instant death, and it is 100% accurate. If you are anything less than immune to instant or Expel type attacks, it will kill you. You do not want to be hit by it. Okay, let's pass. We'll just get that punch in. Make sure you don't hit the virtues, as there's an extremely high chance that they'll just be shattered by your attack. There we go. Okay, that finally takes care of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to taunt him, and then we're going to use War Cry to bring his physical attack back down again. And I'll most likely have to use a Chakra Drop, but that's not a huge deal. And Prominence is no worry because, of course... Oh, okay, that's a little concerning. I was not being mindful of how low my HP was getting. Alright, we'll want to pass around for right now. This is a good opportunity to use a Chakra Drop right now, so get my MP back up a little bit. This fight's going not as well as I'd hoped because I've made some pretty serious misplays, particularly forgetting... what was it? Shiranui. That was a huge one. I should have written that down, and I didn't think to. I wrote down a bunch of other things, but I forgot that one. Okay, that's a good start. But yeah, he only has Deikuja, so you can just go all in on debuffs and not have to worry about him countering that. I don't know if the virtues do anything about that, if they have like buffing skills or what. that got meditations damage up a ton. Okay, at this point, let's get another Sukunda in, just to give us a little bit more safety there if he's using Prominence. Okay, there we go. Okay, at this point now, we just want to start focusing and getting very powerful physical attacks in, and we'll just have Daisojo meditate on him, get all his MP topped off, and, you know, keep his HP up too. And he can heal as needed with Medea, and we should be fine here. God's Bow, as long as we have Tetraja in effect when he decides to use that, we are good. Okay. Hopefully we get a dodge here. No dodge. Actually, that's very unfortunate that... Oh, actually, we did get a dodge. Never mind. I was going to say that's very unfortunate that hit our Habaki twice. Let me see here. I want to just take a second, use a bead here. Because we've got the two Secundas up, I can probably use Lunge with no worries. Yeah, oh, nice! Excellent damage right there. Love it when I get to see big numbers like that. And this is a big reason why physical attacks are so good in this game. Crits just add an extra layer of really good damage you can do on focused strikes like that. But yeah, after a very rough opening, because I made a bunch of terrible decisions... oh, it's already in effect, I wasn't paying attention. We are pretty much smooth sailing. As you can see, he starts to hunch over when his HP gets a little low. Okay, so let's just get a couple more focuses up. We'll get one on myself, one on our Habaki. Yeah, let's get one on Matador. Why not? I was considering using Meditation, but we're going to kill him before we could even hope to stall out his MP. And hey! So yeah, I was really unlucky with getting Stone Gazes on the Virtues, but afterwards, this fight has essentially gone perfectly, so let's just go whole hog here. There we go, he's down, these guys are down, and we win. Would have been a much smoother fight if I remembered to equip Shiranui, but it's not a big deal. And we'll get another point of magic going. Get strength onto Matador. And we have Red Capote. Sexy Gaze is going the way of the dinosaur. And now Matador can buff himself up to max evasion at the opening of a fight. And that makes him a pretty effective way to dodge multi-target attacks, particularly physical ones, which have lower accuracy. We get the Candelabrum of Compassion. Doesn't it warm your heart? Alright, so we burnt through a bunch of our resources there. I do want to keep Daisojo in because I want him to get experience and start learning skills. Up next on deck, he's got Mamudon, but the skill he learns after that is Prayer, and I really, really want that. Plus, Daisojo drains mental ailments, so he's a good cover if I run into anything that uses stuff like Dormina. Let's heal ourselves up there, and if you remember, the whole reason we came here is to use that terminal to connect to so Hijiri can get onto a terminal that the Assembly of Nihilo are not actively monitoring. And once we get here, as you can see, he was very proactive. It looks like he, looks like he just was immediately linked up and was able to get here as soon as we activated it. Or maybe he just managed to do some independent work and get here. It's also one of the very few times we actually see Hijiri wearing his hat instead of holding it. Not sure why he likes holding that thing like it's a handbag. Ah, so this is the origin point of the mannequins also. Alright, cool. Hopefully we can get a good lead here. Alright, so yes, Hijiri is going to be doing some investigating on the terminal, and he advises us to go explore Asakusa more, and there are a couple of key scenes we need to watch before Hijiri will move on and give us the next place we need to go to. But that's not what we're going to worry about right this second. What we're going to do is we're going to enter the second Kalpa, and we're going to try and ford the cursed hallway. Meet you there. Alright, here we are at the entrance to the cursed hallway. So the gimmick of this hallway is that as we take steps through it, our HP just gets halved, and it goes all the way down to 1 HP. Now, when we enter this, we want to make sure the danger meter is at yellow, so we have a high chance of getting a decent amount of distance without actually running into anything. I'll also throw up a stoma just on the off chance it does lower the danger value. I'm not sure if it actually does. Now, the Magatama I've got equipped here is Wadatsumi. This is because among the enemies that we can run into, a couple of them can use ice attacks, and tanking that through nullification will allow us to end their turns prematurely and give us a greater odd of surviving. Alternatively, there are a couple of encounters that, if they get to go first, they will instead just choose to debuff us, which is very nice. Oh, and actually, for once, I get lucky here and actually go first. This is extremely unlikely to happen because I have very low agility and luck relative to these enemies. Now, if I get into a fight with any of these guys, I don't really trust my odds of actually defeating them. So we're just going to use Pisaka to Trafurias out of the encounter. And I also want to make sure Pisaka is actually in the stock so that he does not actually get killed prematurely, though if he does, I can revive him. But yes, we'll send him back to the stock so that we can just pull him out, and unfortunately I got lucky on this next encounter roll, so a bunch of these guys are going first. Okay, that's not a bad start. Another thing that would be helpful is if our Habaki got... There we go! Okay, that's good, that's good. That is the kind of thing that I'd like to see. Also, Daisojo making his ailment draining helpful. If that Abaddon got to go first, he would drain the Panic Voice and end the turn right there. So even though I'm getting into a couple of encounters, I am getting pretty lucky on what's happening here. I will not lie to you. Getting through this hallway is entirely a matter of luck, unless you decide to do so much later in the game. And anytime I've gotten through here, it's always because I've just gotten into very few encounters along the way, so I did not have to worry about it. Now, as you are going through the hallway, you will notice certain doors off to the right. Do not take those doors. Those are shortcuts back to earlier in the hallway. You do not want to go through those, or else you have to go back through from the start again. You want to keep wrapping around until you have no other direction to go, and then you go through the door. Once again, I'm getting pretty unlucky on the danger rolls for encounters here, so my danger value is going up a ton, and I'm going to get into another encounter before I get to the end of this hallway. Okay, this is not a threatening encounter at all, because Floros, when they go before you, they like to use War Cry. I could have gotten unlucky there, and they would have attacked the Demi-Fiend, and if that happened, that would have been a problem, but thankfully that did not happen. Here, we can just use a Smoke Ball. I've got these in my inventory, I may as well use them. I didn't bother to check to see if I had any before I came here, which is why I've been getting in Pisaka. I've also got plenty of Chakra Drops, and, you know, Karasu can use Makatora if it comes to it, so I don't have to worry about conserving Pisaka's MP either. Okay, we're almost at the end here. Wrap around here. Oh! Please don't do anything horrible. Okay. Tetraja. Tetraja. Okay! So, another thing that is helpful in this hallway is that a lot of the enemies are complete idiots and will do stupid things that waste their turns, which I am thankful for. So, let's just smoke ball out of here, and we are right in front of the ladder. Oh man, thank you. Okay. So, why would I go through all this effort, taking such huge risk to life and limb to get through this? The reward is well beyond what you'd be expecting for doing this. So, here we've got an Ifrit, and if we talk to him, he says he is in disbelief that we actually made it through there, and he's got a prize for us. 250,000 Maka. Now, I'll be honest with you, because we've got a couple of Magatama to buy at Asakusa, this money is actually going to go a lot quicker than you'd expect, but on normal mode, this is an obscene amount of cash that'll have you set for a very, very good portion of the game. I will still have a decent amount after making the Magatama purchases. And I may do some additional purchases with demons in the compendium, but I do want to try and conserve some of this so that we'll have some in reserve for when we get to the next set of Magatama purchases, but that'll be for a while. Now, before we attempt to get out of here, you've noticed the danger value has gone back up. We want to make sure that's yellow again, and the enemies down here are actually the standard enemies for the second Kalpa, so you can very easily just ignore them via Estoma. But now, we've got the tough part. We've got to get back out, and hopefully the danger value stays low. So I want to just check my map, make sure I don't waste any steps. And this is where these shortcuts come into play. Each one dumps you out close to another one. So here we go. The danger value is orange right now. And will I make it? And we are out, 250k richer, and that was actually the first try. I did not have to do a second or third, or however many attempts it would have taken to get that done. So, now we can get out of here. I'm gonna make a quick stop at Ginza just to check something at Rag's Jeweler, and if he has what I want, I will show you what it is. If not, I'll just meet you back at Asakusa, and we will use our ill-gotten gains. Meet you there. Alright, here we are at Rag's Jeweler, and I do in fact have what I need for what I want. We want to get a Nigimitama. Now, alternatively, I could fuse this guy. I don't remember the fusion offhand, but I can easily just look it up on my phone or something. The reason I want him is because I want to fuse him onto Daisojo before he learns any more skills so that he can have access to Rakunda, which will be a nice debuff to have onto him. Also, this will be a good example of how much you get out of fusing Mitama onto demons to have high base stats. He's got 21 magic at base, so he gets +4 out of this. If I remember correctly, it's at 24 base in any given stat that a Mitama can be used to cap that stat. And, let's see. I just want to check. What does he have again? Yeah. Okay, I don't need Persuade, so yeah. Rakunda and Analyze. Analyze is almost certainly going to be unlearned once I got all the skills I want onto Daisojo. The main reason I want this is for the magic boost and for Rakunda so that Daisojo has more as disposal. I would have loved to have this for White Rider, but I didn't really feel like just walking all the way back to the end of the Ikebukuro tunnels for like the 4th time because I had to warp back to Ginza to do something. So that's what I wanted to take care of here. I'll meet you at Asakusa next. Alright, here we are at Asakusa, so first order of business, let's head into the junk shop right next to the terminal. Once again, this guy is here just awaiting us, and he has got Magatama to sell, and they are quite expensive on hard mode, so yeah, that is why I wanted to go get that money. Otherwise, it would be a very long time before we could afford these, so first let's get Nirvana, and let's just leave so we can get our lucky ticket for our big ticket purchase. And next up, we want to get Gehenna. Gehenna is the next level of Fire Magatama, which of course, since I'm using fire magic, is pretty important for my build, so let's pick that up. And back out of here, and that's all we needed, get our lucky ticket. And let's get Gehenna in so I can start working on that. It should immediately teach us the next skill I want, Hellfire, which is the upgrade to Fire Breath. Now, the one thing that's interesting about Hellfire is that it's actually on a lower tier than Tornado, and indeed the other tier, well, it's a bit weird to classify, but each element has a tier 2 spell. Hellfire is on a slightly lower tier than the other spells for Elec, Ice, and Force. So it's a bit weird like that, it's like tier 1.5, but there is a reason for that, and Fire Magic has a little bit more base power to compensate for this anyway, so it's not too bad. It's a little bit cheaper, but not as much punching power. We have Tornado for the situations where we need more punching power, though, and with Fire Boost, it'll still deal pretty great damage. Gehenna also gives pretty solid stat boost, +3 across the board, which I think is actually pretty nice, so that's good to have. The other Magatama we got is Nirvana. This one's essentially an upgrade to Ankh, and I actually do want to learn that skill, Violet Flash, for the next dungeon that we're going to be going to. So once I get Hellfire learned off of Gehenna, I actually will be equipping this. And Violet Flash is just going to be a short-term value skill that'll be very useful in the next dungeon that we're going to be going to. so that's why I want that. And one other thing to note is that Karasu is just a few hundred experience points away from leveling up and evolving. So, you know what? Let's just talk to this guy right here. Alright, you do you, friend. I believe in you. Now, this section of Asakusa we can run into enemies, but it is not something we can actually go any further in. As you can see, the collector mannequin is working on this area to try and clear away this rubble to make his own store. So that'll be something to look into later. And yes, he will get his own store and this area will clear up. Now, let's have Pikasa throw out, or Pisaka, not Pikasa, throw out Ribarama, and let me just run around a bit. And here we go. For his final level up, Karasu will learn Tornado. Now, what do I want to get rid of to make plays for this? Honestly, at this point, I'm never going to use Kamikaze with him again, so we're just going to trade that out for Tornado. Obviously, I'm not going to take a skill change, but what we are going to take... Oh, well, I can take his item also. There is no reason to refuse listening to a demon. They always give you good items, like a smoke ball. And now something is happening to Karasu's body. Upon his final level up, getting his last skill, Karasu evolves into Kurama. This is Kurama Tengu, and he is one of my favorite demons in the game, for sure. He is an excellent force magic user, and he also gets some expel type attacks. And very quickly after this, I think like 2 levels, he'll learn force boost, so he'll become an impressive attacker. And he's got Tadaru Kaja for buffing options, and Dark Might if I want to use it, but I don't really care about that, and I'm probably going to be getting rid of that soon enough. But yes, that is why I want to raise up Karasu, because Kurama is just an amazing demon, very powerful force caster, and I could fuse a bunch of Nigibitamas onto him right now and just make him so powerful. I'm not going to do that at the moment, but I might invest some money towards it once I manage to fuse my own Nigimitama. Get a Stoma back up so we're not getting harassed by stuff on our way out. Now that we've gotten that taken care of, a few miscellaneous topics I'd like to go over. So speaking of Nigimitama, you may have noticed in his level up skill set, also this guy was the former leader of the mannequins in the underpass of Ginza. Yeah. But yes, Futumimi has retaken over as the leader of the mannequins. After all, being able to see the future, it's pretty good leadership quality, I'd say. And he is in their holy ground, Mifunashiro. So we'll check that out in a bit. Ooh, a bad mannequin? Oof. Sounds like one rough dude. And yes, this is alluding to, I want to say recurring villain in this game, but he's not really that. Well, we'll see very shortly. So we have 2 exits that we can go out through Asakusa, a west exit and an east exit. We'll be taking the west exit first. And the spirits who have been squatting here are not fans of the mannequins. Yeah, racism. So let's head out of the west exit first. This will lead us to our first scene that we need to see. But yeah, Nigimitama, you may have noticed that in his level up list, he has access to Fire Boost, and Nigimitama learns all of the boosting skills. So after a point, I do want to fuse up a Nigimitama with Watchful and have it chill out in my stock, so that's leveling up, and then I can register it and have an easy way to get all the boosting skills onto any demon I want, and that'll be very important in the relatively near future. Oh geez. Okay. But yeah, Sakahagi is here, he's going buck wild, and he has caused a lot of carnage, it looks like. Yeah, this is honestly kind of a tense moment when I first got here, when I first played this game so many years ago, because like, oh geez, am I going to get into a tough fight here? Oh hey, Orthros, we haven't actually directly seen this guy yet. He can be found in the Mantra HQ, as well as Ginza, after the assault on the assembly of Nihilo. It's a pretty rare encounter though, so you don't see him too often. He is weak to ice, physically oriented demon, uses fire magic, nothing too exciting. Zenma here. And I think I should be able to finish him off with slapping him with rosary beads, but yeah. Not necessarily a new encounter, but something that you can run into more frequently around here. He's still within the level range for us to encounter him, because I am pretty under-leveled for this point in the game. And here's a guy playing dead. So, heading over to this doorway over here, this is where our good friend Sakahagi will be waiting for us. Get some creepy music here. And oof, this guy has interesting attire choices. Yeesh. I'm assuming you mean Futomimi. But yeah, Sakahagi does not have any beef with us. He's just looking for easy targets to get Magatsui off of, which the mannequins, his own kind, they are ripe pickings on that front. But yeah, Sakahagi, he is throwing his hat in with the race to create a reason. No, not really. I haven't really put much thought into it. The only reason we've really backed at this point is Yosuga. In fact, that's the only reason we've had an option to back at this point. Yeah, any interaction you have with Gozutenu does not contribute to getting the Yosuga ending, so don't worry about that. It looks like Sakahagi is not satisfied with his lot in life, and he wants to become the ruler of the demons. But yeah, he is very vicious to his own kind. Now these cash cubes here, they're empty. Sakahagi took the items like a jerk, and then he closed them up just to troll us. Now the other thing that I've been trying to mention since we've defeated White Rider is that there is actually another Fiend battle for us to get into at this point. It opens up as soon as you defeat White Rider, and it is in fact Red Rider. Red Rider is camping out the hallway in the Great Ginza Underpass, right outside the terminal there. So as soon as you warp back to that area, you can get into a fight with the Red Rider. We're not going to do that this video, because we've already had one pretty long boss fight this video, so I feel like that would be a bit gratuitous. We've already had tons of boss fights in previous videos, fighting all the Oni, and then we had White Rider in this video. What do you got to say, little boy? And yes, the east exit, this leads out to Mifunashiro, so let's get out of here. Now, on the way to Mifunashiro, there is a handful of items we can get, and actually a fairly important side thing to get. So, there's an item on the other side of that railroad track. Unfortunately, we cannot get under it, because apparently the Demi-Fiend turns into a giant when he steps out onto the overworld. What do you got to say, buddy? So, not everybody is racist towards the mannequins. Makes you think, doesn't it? But that's not anything we care about at the moment. Now, what we do care about is, I think it's this room? No, it's the adjacent room. Whoa, we can talk to this guy. Oh, jeez. This guy has some interesting kinks. I believe you can talk to this guy in the Kabukicho prison. I just didn't really feel like looking for him, because a lot of the text is really repetitive. Oh, we got a little arcade set up here. Oh, so this kid's got a Magatama, and he'll give it to us if we beat the game. We're not going to do this right now. But I am going to make an extra video where I complete Puzzle Boy. Puzzle Boy is a hair-pullingly difficult block-pushing puzzle game, and a lot of people hate it, and it's one of the more hated things to do for getting all Magatama. But if you do complete it, you get a really good Magatama for this point in the game, because it teaches Mediorama, and that is excellent to have on a magic-focused Demi-Fiend. Really takes care of a lot of your healing issues if you do not have a dedicated healer at your disposal. But I'm not going to do that right now, because I don't know the solutions offhand. A lot of the later ones are extremely complex, so I really do need to be looking at a guide if I want to actually complete it. And yeah, a bunch of enemies here, nothing too threatening, but I may as well fight everything along the way, because of course we need to get level ups. I want to get Gehenna leveled up so I get Hellfire, and then I want to level up with Nirvana to get Violet Flash for the next dungeon. Now, the funny thing about the Magatama that we get from that kid, so get the magic mirror out of this cache cube here. Funny thing about that Magatama that we get from that kid, it also is an Expel type Magatama, well, healing type, but also Expel type. and it nullifies Expel, but if I remember correctly, it does not actually give you a death-type weakness when you ingest it, so it is basically just a flat upgrade over Nirvana in that front. So I just thought that was interesting to mention it. Hold on, what did you say again? Okay. That's just what I wanted to say. That's what I thought he said. I just wasn't reading carefully enough. Now, to actually move forward, we want to head out of this exit, and this will take us to another connecting tunnel. I call these, like, these weird business areas. I call them the Asakusa Tunnels, but there is actually an actual dungeon called the Asakusa Tunnels, so it's not very intuitive. I'm not really sure what to call these. Like I said, they're like weird business districts, except they don't seem to house any businesses. A very standard way to see the future. Here we've got a small terminal if you need to save, but nothing too threatening here, so I'm just gonna pass it by. I hope I don't come to regret that decision. So let's head into this. There are actually a couple treasures for us to grab here, and mannequins to talk to. Man, we got a hater over here. Isamu just like clutched his chest, feeling his heart hurt when that got said. Yeah, unfortunately, because I really need to start leveling up Daisojo, I cannot fit Matador into my party, which means it is very annoying when I run into enemies that hit me with Warcry just to start out, really putting my offense in the toilet. I mean, I guess I could put Kurama in the stock and let him just get EXP through Watchful, but you just get so much more when you're in the active party, so it just doesn't seem desirable to do. Matador's already learned all the skills he needs, and he's not going to last too much longer, because kind of the downside of being the first Fiend is though he has a lot of good things about him, he is just doomed to become irrelevant, because he's not going to be leveling up fast enough to stay competitive with the rest of the game, and none of his skills that he learns by default are powerful enough for him to stay competitive either. One other thing I'd really like to get off of another level is that I can pull Kikurehime out of the compendium and then fuse her with I believe it's Earthis that ranks her up to get Kushinada, and that'll give me access to Medea Rama, and at that point I can finally give up having Medea on my Demi-Fiend skill set, since Daisojo can cover that front in battle. And here we meet with Futomimi. Don't have anything better for me than that. Yeah, say, Futomimi, you have an impressive man bun. Well, we saw everyone except Sakahagi doing so. Honestly, it is pretty uplifting, given all the crap these guys have been through up to this point in the game, to see them have their own city. Oh. Okay. Seems a little exclusionary, but it's not like there's anything I particularly care about in there. I guess that's the downside of being a leader of people. You have to pull certain, I want to say, strings for PR. Can't let the Demi-Fiend cavort around our holy land. Oh, wow, we already know full well about him. It's not so much hiding as he is hunting. So you disavow Sakahagi, gotcha. To be fair, I don't think anybody would want to claim a serial killer as their own. But inside Mifunashiro, there is also a large terminal, so we can warp straight back to Asakusa. I am sure this will not become relevant in any capacity in the future. Now, I believe at this point, now that we've seen Sakahagi and Futomimi at Mifunashiro, we can actually talk to Hijiri, and he will give us the way forward. Oh, you know, they got pretty nice stuff here, you know, shops, arcades, holy ground. Oh, what do you got for us? Oh, wow. Looks like he's becoming a lot more skilled with these terminals. He's actually allowing us to see things from a great distance. Oof. That is an impressive monument. It's like the Washington Memorial. Or is the Washington Monument? I always get that mixed up. Well, you know. Okay, so this is the headquarters of the Assemblies of Nihilo, the real headquarters. And it looks like this is where Mr. Cow is powering the Nightmare system. Alright, so you want us to go crash the Obelisk? Alright, I can do that. And this is something that you could probably check out and just find out that it was not worth the effort to do so, but there is another entrance to the Assembly of Nihilo called the secondary entrance, and it is actually from a highway that is near the warehouse we use to enter the Great Underpass of Ginza. Alright, so Hijiri will get that opened up for us, and we can head to the Obelisk. Thanks for the vote of confidence, pal. But yes, that is where we'll be heading next, the Obelisk. And the Obelisk is one of the longest dungeons in the game. It's always one that I think is way later in the game than it actually is. I'm always, like, every time I've played this game, I've always gotten here at lower and lower levels, so I'm always just surprised at how early it comes up, because I remember in my first playthrough, I was like level 50 when I reached the Obelisk. Yeah, funny to think about. But we also have Red Rider to take care of, so that will be what we do next video. We will head towards, we will take out Red Rider, and then we will head to the Obelisk. So look forward to that, my fellow fiends. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.